Hey bestie, it's time for your next session of Real Talk Friend Therapy with your favorite big sister auntie queen, Daysha Veronica. Hey y'all, welcome back. I hope you're having a bomb.com week so far. I know my releasing schedule has been all out of whack, and honestly, it's because something I've never really been great at in my life and that I'm trying to work on with my own therapist right now is work-life balance. So I really love my day job. I can't tell you how much I love this job. But at the same time, I also know that boundaries are very important, even when we like what we're doing, so that we don't burn out. And I think what's so hard for me is that it's so rare to have a job that's, it's the job that's helping you pay the bills, but it's something I actually enjoy. And so this has been a very new feeling for me. But with that, it means I go into overachiever mode. And then because of that, I barely have bandwidth for other very important areas of my life, like my boyfriend or my friends, family, and doing this podcast. But then what also adds to the challenge is that I'm not even full-time. I'm technically on a contract, and I'm part of, so it's a contract, but it's also their entry-level program. And so I'm doing this with other people that are on my level. So we're all basically auditioning for a full-time spot. And in this economy, whoo child, okay? Like it then triggers the overachiever in me even more. So yeah, as I work that out, what I can say is that I can deliver 2 episodes in a month. I believe I'm capable of that. I just don't know when those 2 episodes are gonna drop. But I can at least say that I will attempt and do my best to have something at the beginning of a month and something at the end of a month. And that's about as committed as I can be at the moment. But just know that I deeply appreciate y'all for riding with me through the trials and tribulations of my life. Please say a prayer for me that they hire me. I love this job so much. And it would just give me so much more stability in my life if I was a full-time employee. But okay, so now for this week's episode. If you are new to the podcast, Why Are We Friends is a recurring series that I do where I interview my own friends to break down how we decided to be friends in the first place. I'm always hearing adults say how hard it is to make friends now that we're older. And so with this series, I wanted to explore my own friendships and figure out what were those magical elements that existed in our relationship that made us want to be friends so that you guys can try and replicate those same elements for yourselves. This week's episode is with one of my high school besties, Kendall, who is actually the last one to be interviewed in this cluster of high school friends that I'm still close with. I have interviewed the other 2 for the podcast, so you can go and check out those episodes as well if you want a full picture of what high school was like for us, and I'll link those episodes in the show notes. It's actually so wild to me that Kendall and we recorded this interview a year ago because listening to it, I'm like, this literally sounds like we could have recorded this yesterday. And that is something that I love so much about our friendship, is that no matter how much time or distance there is between us, when we get together, whether that's virtually or physically, it's truly like no time has passed and we're just picking up right where we left off. And it's really making me realize how rare and special it is that we have not lived in the same city together since high school. So that was 15, 20 years now. Good God. But we have not lived together in the same city since high school. And yet I still feel like she's such a huge presence in my life. And we've still made the time to see each other and cultivate all of these memories. So I feel like this relationship is truly such a great example of how space and time, they're not an excuse, y'all. If a relationship really matters to you, you'll find the time to be present. And again, it doesn't have to mean being physically present. And it also doesn't have to mean, talking talking every day or even every week or even every month. But yeah, and we talk about this during the interview, but I think something that works so well about our friendship is how committed we are to it. We don't fully remember when we started calling each other wives, but I definitely think there's an element to it that formed because we were both on student council. So first we were junior class president and vice president, and then head of school and vice head of school our senior year. And so there was definitely, I feel like an element of like we were work wives. There was a work wife element to our friendship that I think helped to deepen it. But now I really think that you could just call us friend wives. Like platonically, I just admire her so much. She literally founded a tech company when we were in our early 20s. And then she founded another one, y'all. And she dealt with so much problematic bullshit along the way. And not only do I admire her for her tenacity, but also for how vulnerable she was with me through the whole ordeal. I've had some friendships as an adult where I just really struggled with how much they tried to put on airs with me and act like everything was perfect when it clearly wasn't, or, trying to make me feel like, it's not that they were trying to act like they were better than me, but I definitely got a competitive energy, a keeping up with the Joneses energy. And so when they were clearly struggling and wouldn't be honest, it just, it always just really hurt me because it made me feel like, oh, you only see me for my accomplishments. And so this will never be a safe space for either of us because you clearly don't feel safe to be vulnerable with me. And I then don't feel safe to be vulnerable with someone who just wants to brag about all the amazing stuff they're doing. They'll be like, oh, my life is wonderful and fabulous and amazing, and I'm building this company and nothing ever goes wrong. Sidebar, if there are any HGTV watchers out there, because I'm obsessed. So this attitude is exactly why I stopped watching anything that has to do with Christina and Tarek, but more so Christina. So for context, Christina and Tarek used to be married and they co-hosted a show on HGTV, but then they got a divorce and they got their own separate shows. And I could not with Christina's whole shtick facade of my life is perfect and I have a new man and a new business and I'm just so in love and look at how in love I am, and ooh, now I got a new baby and everything is just sunshine and rainbows. Because again, if you watch HGTV, then you also know that her life was not actually all that perfect. It was actually a very, very hot mess, a flaming hot mess. And I could even, there was something about it where I just always got the vibe that she was fronting so hard and just trying to put up this very carefully curated image of moving on and this perfect life. And, to some degree, it was probably to make her ex jealous. Since then, she's a basket case. There could be a whole ton of reasons why, but I just couldn't. It gave me the ick, and I can only imagine what it's like being friends with her. Again, because I'm so plugged in like that. I hear that she has friend turnover like crazy, so it is not surprising to me. Oh, and then second sidebar, and then I promise I'll get back on track, but she is a Cancer, and I've been meaning to do a friendship and astrology series for forever because I can't tell you how often I see this pattern in people who I know that are Cancers. And I know, say what you want about not wanting to believe astrology is real, but I'm just saying, I know way too many Cancers in my life who are infamous for this. Their house will be on fire and you can see the flames and you'll go over to them and you'll be like, oh my God, your house is on fire. Are you okay? And they will literally sit there and be like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. And you'll be so confused because your two eyes can see the smoke and the flames, and they will seriously gaslight the shit out of you, trying to be like, everything is okay, until you corner them or call them out about not keeping up with something that they were supposed to do. And then it's just like, really? Why was this so hard for you to say? Why are you acting like I ain't got eyeballs? I can see the flames. But then also, more importantly, you know, it just makes me want to be like, why are you acting like we aren't friends? And why won't you just let me help you? You know, it's wild. I could go off in a diatribe about cancers and this thing, but that's not what we're here for, okay? We are here today to talk about my lovely, wonderful friend Kendall. So again, my purpose in going off on those two sidebars is just to emphasize how much I love that Kendall was never like that with me, as well as how much I appreciate her for being so vulnerable with me in those moments of struggle, because it really allowed me to know how much she valued our friendship, to be real with me like that, and to, you know, again, like not be putting on airs, like just allowing me to see her for her, because then it created an environment where I felt like I could show my real self to her too, in the ways in which I struggle and I get scared and all those things. And in fact, I think honesty has been such a grounding part of our relationship. I was actually just talking with her the other day, and she mentioned how much she appreciated, again, how honest I was about my financial situation the last time we hung out. So if you go, so last year I did a series of episodes on friendship and finance, and Kendall actually happened to be in town, and I kind of, you know, we got to a point where I was just like, girl, like, this is so fun. I cannot blow money like this. And, you know, she was just like, I appreciate how honest you were with me. And I was like, you know, it's a testament to the depth of our friendship. I felt safe to tell you that because you've shared things with me that weren't easy to share. And every time we have one of those moments, you know, it makes me, okay, so I actually have an amazing, amazing interview coming up in the next few episodes with a therapist about conflict in friendships. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But the therapist said something that has really stuck with me since our conversation about how it's not always possible to create safe spaces with people, because you just never know what someone's reaction is going to be, even from the people that we love and we typically expect a safe reaction from. But what we should be aiming to do is to create brave spaces, you know, spaces where people can at least, you know, speak their piece and that it'll be heard, or the other person will at least try to hear it. And I loved that outlook so much. And I definitely think that Kendall and I, for sure, have cultivated a brave space between us that I value so much. All right, so before you get to meet Kendall, I hate that this happened, but there was some audio distortion on her mic that I didn't hear when we were recording, but that I guess happened in the transfer. I'm not 100% sure because I am clearly responding like there's nothing wrong. So all of this is to say that some parts might be a little hard to hear. It kind of went in and out, but you know, overall you can make out what she's saying. I just wanted to let y'all know so you don't think it's your headphones or your speaker. And actually, when I listened to it with like my computer speakers, it sounded okay. So anyway, I am excited, so excited for you to meet my dearest wifey, Kendall. Hi, wifey.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I think that this is a super anticipated episode because of the notorious 20 best friends saga.
I have a lot of friends, but since that whole saga, I did talk to my husband about it, and he said that I'm probably defining best friends incorrectly.
You know, I think it's lovely that you care about that many people. I'm curious if you think that those people give you the same investment that you give them, though.
I mean, clearly Rachel doesn't, because I think she thinks I'm an acquaintance. No, when I think about a best friend, it's someone where if they're calling, you are going to answer, you're going to make a big effort to answer. And even if you're not talking all the time, when you see them, it just goes back to being the way it was. And if they ever needed anything, you would just drop everything and be there for them, and vice versa. And that isn't Rachel's definition of a best friend. She's saying someone you talk to every day. But I've always felt really close to people that I don't see or talk to every day. And so I clearly define it differently.
No, totally. And I think that that's why it's so important to talk about it, because I was actually, it was either in a book or an article that I was reading where it was saying that there are a lot of people who consider people best friends who actually don't consider them in that same way as best friends. And I just think a lot of it is people not being on the same page, not understanding that people have different wants and needs when it comes to identifying a best friend. And, you know, I always, when Rachel was honest with us in that that moment, I knew that even though like the labels were a bit messed up, the love was there. And that's the thing that's the most important to pay attention to anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't insulted at all about that. And I don't think I would look someone in the eye and be like, you're my best friend, so much as when it feels like we're aligned. Like we derive joy or support from each other. We do our phone calls or we see each other in person. And I'm actually a very independent person because I was an only child. So I think it's what serves me more so than there's really no one other than my husband and my dog who I see or talk to every day.
Yeah. Well, as you know, this episode is the part of our Why Are We Friends series where we kind of go into our friendship and investigate how we became friends. And, you know, if there's anything else that we would like to see the relationship grow and thrive and continue to be the beautiful living organism that it is. And so our first question is, in your recollection, how did we meet?
Yeah. So I know we met in high school, and I'm fairly certain we met in sophomore year Latin class.
Yes.
I do not I mean, we've been friends for a million years, so I don't remember the exact moment, except I was a new sophomore. You had been there all of freshman year.
Yep.
You had a pretty exciting freshman year in that...
That's one way to put it.
You had been a day student who then got run over by a car and got to become a boarder, and everyone loved you. You had all this lore around you. So I don't know if this was actually the first day we met, but I do remember I was very nervous about coming to this new school, and you would just walk into the Latin classroom like you owned the world, the school, something like that. You were so confident. You were friends with everyone. You were like the only person who had fashion sense. A very preppy high school. And I was like, I didn't use this language at the time, but now it's like, that bitch knows what's up. So I was terrified of you. I was like, oh my gosh, she'll never.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, you were definitively one of the coolest people at our high school the entire time. We became friends, and then we went on like a power trip for most of our time there. But I love being friends with like the most confident, weirdest people, and you were that for sure.
Oh my God, that is so funny. The idea that I had this lore around me because of the car accident, that is hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, people saw you got run over, and then you were just coming to class in like your fits. And I was listening to one of your episodes, but you would wear bows on your boobs, and you would walk in with different wigs every day. I remember you would be late to class, pretty much always, but you'd be late to class. You'd walk in front of everyone else in class and be like, oh, sorry, my therapy ran over. And I was like, she's so cool. She has no secrets. Like, I don't know. You were a force to be reckoned with in high school. You still are. But in high school, we were in a very sheltered community. And you knew who you were, I think, before most of us did.
Oh my God. That is so funny. So when I think about us meeting, Latin does loom very large for me. And it's interesting because, as you might have heard, Kendall is my wifey, and we've been wifeys since high school. But as I was thinking about this episode, I was trying to remember when we decided to call each other wifeys. And I want to say, I think it was, so when I think about the origins of our friendship, so sophomore year, we had Latin together. Our Latin classroom was really small. And so it was me, my roommate at the time, Fifi, and then Kendall.
Terrifying. Oh my God. So scary. Yeah.
Fifi was definitely not one to fuck with. Mm-hmm. But she was also really over our high school at that point.
She hated it. She ended up, she was awesome because I would stay with you. You guys were both boarders. I would stay in your room, and she was so cool. Yeah. But yeah, you guys, in very different ways, actually. You were much friendlier, but like you guys both had this like swag and cachet. And I was like, oh no, this is bad for me.
That is so funny. But yeah, so Fifi was on one side of me, and then Kendall was on the other side of me, and we were front row in the Latin room. And I feel like Jamie was such a big part of developing a relationship because Jamie was always doing or talking or saying something very...
This is our teacher.
Yeah, this is our teacher. I felt like half the time we were learning Latin, and then half the time we were getting like a life lesson on something or talking about something absurd that happened in Jamie's life. Like, it was one of the best class. And so, yeah, so we always had something to talk about with like, oh, can you believe that Jamie...
She would put, we took quizzes all the time because it was high school. She would put quizzes on our desk, very small room. She would then leave the room. You'd be taking the quiz. No one cheated because our high school was full of like prudes.
Yeah, overachievers.
Yeah. And then you would look to your left, and it was like a wooden door with like a little glass window. You look to your left, and she would have her fingers in the window, have her eyes right there watching you through the window. And you're like, oh, wow. She's a lunatic. We were 14. She told us the best reason to get married is because when your husband gets into bed first, it warms up the bed before you get in it.
Wait, she's... I can't remember this, but it sounds like something Jamie would say. Like,
I loved her. She constantly, she had huge red hair, beautiful red hair, constantly talked about shaving it. And she said if she shaved it, she was going to get a tattoo on her head. And she did ultimately shave it.
Wait, when did she say, when we were in high school?
No, right after.
Oh.
She did shave it. Latin was incredible. I highly recommend people take the most useless classes they can through high school.
And then the thing that I have heard just from other people that I know that have taken Latin, like, I feel like everyone's Latin teacher was an experience. Like, you cannot be a regular smegular person teaching Latin.
No, because generally you've chosen to get a master's or PhD in a dead language. So you're not going to like find anything else. You're certainly not going to talk to anyone else. You just love the game.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah, I feel like Jamie was always gave us a conversation starter to talk about, like, did that just happen in class? Like, was that a thing? And so then as I was thinking about it, I was like, we were close. I feel like we had class together and I liked you, but I feel like our friendship really deepened towards the end of sophomore year, going into junior year, when we were elected president and vice president of the junior class. And would you say that rings true for you?
I think that's right. And I did stay in your room a few times sophomore year. So we definitely were friends.
No, totally. We were totally friends. But I feel
best friends.
Yes.
See, best friends. Junior year. Because I ran against you for president of the junior class. I lost, which, like, obviously, have you met Daysha? I was elected vice president. You were elected president. And we were lunatics. We were crazed with power at all times. We got hate mail, which wasn't deserved. That was kind of mean. But I loved
hate mail was whatever.
That's our life for 2 years. Oh my gosh, we got to meet the students. We knew like the teacher gossip. I don't know what we did. We put on a really good dance. Yeah.
Yes, we did. Mm-hmm. So junior year, we were responsible for, we had, I think it was a semi-formal.
Yeah.
And Kendall and I accidentally, this was not part of the plan, it just happened, but we created this like VIP section because the area that we were in, it had like an upper level and a bottom level. And so the dancing was on the bottom level and the VIP level was at the top. And so the chaperones, for whatever reason, they were like, oh yeah, we'll help guard the VIP section.
Why?
But then that meant that no one was really watching the kids. So I guess a ton of kids got plastered.
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember people being really dumb. Not me, because I wasn't cool.
Don't say that.
I was with you doing student council stuff. I certainly wasn't getting blasted. Next life. But yeah, no, I remember people being drunk. I had the best time. I was dancing. I was very proud of that. We put on a very good party.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. And like, we were cool. And again, we were cool and drunk with power, you know, like we were
100%, which is better, right? It's like alcohol is drunk, but power is power.
Yeah. So you're totally right. So we were friends, but then do you remember when we decided that we were wives? Was it sophomore year or junior year?
I believe it was October of sophomore year. I also believe it was before we were friends.
Oh.
If I recall correctly, it was just a thing people did on Facebook, and we were, who knows, on the quad together, and maybe I proposed, and then we were wives for years. I think till the end of college.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still wives, but no one uses Facebook anymore.
Yeah. No, I remember the day that you called me and you were like, Daysha, I think it's time. And I think Kendall had been in this really long-term relationship at this point. Like, you were basically with your husband.
I was with my husband.
Yeah.
I've been with him for a very long time.
Yeah.
Honestly, should have kept you on Facebook. I don't remember why I felt the need to change.
But I remember that day. That day I was like, oh man, I'm really getting old here.
Oh, so many fun memories. We went
I
to
know.
Rome together
Oh my
as
God. Okay.
children. We went again as adults. We went as children.
Yes.
So fun.
Okay, we'll get into that with friendship memories. I guess you kind of already talked about your first impression of me. So, my first impression of you, I would say, you have always been someone that has just like a really bubbly, fun, personable. I just feel like you bring a lot of joy to the spaces that you come into.
Nice.
You do.
Thank you.
I think that you love to have a good time, and I think you also love to make sure that the people in the space around you are having a good time. And so, I mean, I think that really stood out when you think about the people who were in the Latin class that we were in.
Yeah. It's not, yeah. It's a strange group of people that chooses to take Latin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the best people, but definitely quiet people.
Yeah, we were an interesting assortment. And I think before you showed up, I don't think I really had anyone to bounce my energy off of, because Fifi was amazing, but Fifi, again, hated CA. And then also, I think as far as like being in class was just, we were very intense and about the work. And then everyone else in the room was just quiet, either quiet or awkward or a combination of the two. And so when you came, like, I feel like you just brought a totally different vibe to the room that then like really allowed my personality to come out. And yeah.
I don't remember when, but for a while we thought it was really funny to only speak to our Latin teacher as Gollum and Smeagol.
I think you did, because I didn't know Lord of the Rings like that. And I went along with it.
Yeah, I think I taught you one of the voices, and I just remember her screaming at us to stop being Gollum and Smeagol. And that's a real highlight.
Yeah. No, I think I do vaguely remember that. Yeah, and that had to have been something you taught me. And I think I remember we were in the hallway right before we were going into class, right?
Yeah, she would try to separate us. The room was really small though, so she would make me or you switch seats with like one of the boys in the back, and then we'd still just be talking to each other just over people at that point, which I think made the problem work. I don't think that was a good solution.
Okay, so, I mean, it might be hard to pinpoint, but do you know, was there any particular moment that made you say, oh, like, this girl, I want to be friends with her? Like, we weren't just hanging out. It was like, oh, like, I think I want more from this.
I don't remember DTRing with you, but I think I've always just been very like platonically attracted to people who are loud and artistic, interesting, strong point of view. I had just come from a very conservative middle school where I felt othered. I mean, I have great friends from there, but othered because girls were expected to be quiet and you didn't want to be smarter than the boys or louder. Like that wasn't celebrated. In that community. And so coming to a very artsy school where I think it was extremely female dominant. And so coming to this school where most of the people were, or most of the girls were so confident, and then you really stood out as one of the most confident girls. I don't know. I just think I was really fascinated, and I was more into sports. You were more into arts, but getting to like watch you go like have those experiences and learn. It's more like we always had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right that like I think we declared that we were wifeys in like the very early stages of our relationship. Oh wait, you know what? Didn't we do like a Facebook quiz? And the quiz was like, you guys would be a good match or something like that. That's vaguely popping into my mind.
What a success story for Facebook.
I know.
I believe you.
No, I think we just ran with it from there. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The more I do these interviews, the more I'm like, I think that I'm also very platonically attracted to strong, individualistic. I mean, not when I say individualistic, like not like in a selfish way, but people who are very, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, like they're very bold. They're very upfront. They're very not afraid to go after the things that they want or the things that they're interested in, even if they're not the quote unquote like coolest things, you know? And you were someone that I remember you had a lot going on. Like it goes back to your bubbly personality. Like you are someone where like if you could be involved, you were involved. Like you were doing UN, you were doing student council, you were doing sports. Like you were in like every bubble community that you could be a part of, you were in it.
How did you get away with 4 years of high school and not playing any sports? Was it
honestly
cool that you had to play sports?
I think it's because of the car accident.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because because you're right. I think there was a requirement, and I was going to get away with it doing dance.
Oh,
but
yeah,
the year that I did dance was when I got hit. So
you were a busy bee though, because you were in theater. You guys talked about Theater 3 in one of these podcast episodes. I would like to say for the audience that show was awful. Oh my God. It was like interpretive, scary sexual dance. In the audience and I was like, oh no.
I mean, awful for y'all, but it was amazing for us. I enjoyed it. Peak high school experience.
Yeah, you did ceramic.
Oh,
you did
God.
all of art.
Oh, my God. Ceramics. Yes, I did. It's so funny, though, because ceramics was such a big part of my freshman year. And then I think sophomore year I did it, but I was like transitioning out because I was like, this is too much. My bowls.
Ceramics?
Yes.
Too much?
Yes. Have you used the pottery wheel?
No.
Oh my God. I just remember the pottery wheel is really fun, but I'd be struggling trying to make bowls that had a nice flat bottom. It is so much harder than it looks.
Okay. I believe you.
Yeah. No, by sophomore year, I was done with ceramics.
Fair enough. I feel like ceramics is something that I've held for like if my husband dies or like I'm like a middle-aged divorcee. Like I think that would be a really good time to pick up ceramics.
Yeah, you could be eat, pray, ceramics.
Yeah, ceramics.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You feel me. You got me.
I'm glad to know that you have a plan for when, if anything happens to Connor.
men die much earlier than women. Everyone should have a plan.
So yeah, I think just thinking about the question, I agree with you that I don't think that there was necessarily a definitive moment. I think that I was just very attracted to your vibe. I think that you helped bring out a side of me that was always there. But sophomore year, it's so funny that you say all of those things not sophomore year, freshman year, especially before the car accident, I feel like I was a much quieter personality. I was still trying to get my bearings and being in this predominantly white environment. And so yeah, I feel like by sophomore year, you had such a fun personality. Like you just brought out a lot of the fun that's always been in me. And I think that was something that a lot of the kids of color knew, but I don't think I had really exposed to the rest of the community like that.
Yeah. And then you made sure that every single person at the school knew by the end of our 4 years. Yeah, you're like, I started a little slow. And then my junior year, I pretty much ran the entire school. And we gave announcements every single morning, mostly because we thought we were hilarious.
I mean, we were.
We were so funny.
Yeah.
We brought puppets in one time to tell people, like, to throw away their trash. I remember at that point, the DA students was like, all right, it's gone too far. You guys have taken this too far.
But, I mean, we were so great at our jobs. So, I mean, that was dedication.
I like to think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you think works well about our friendship?
I think we both lead by assuming best intent from each other. Which is challenging, right? As you get older, or even like at the beginning, like from different backgrounds. And then as you get older, you move across the country from your best friend, which is really rude. And you...
are you coming for me?
Yeah, and you have different experiences, right? We went to different colleges. We have very different careers, but we still have these conversations where we can ask each other things or talk about things and just know that the other person is absolutely coming from a good place. And so we like have really interesting and fun experiences together. If you want an example, I was thinking about this and you called me over a year ago, sometime after October 7th, and you said, I've been seeing some anti-Semitic stuff online. Can you like help explain some of it? And I was like, yeah, I would like that's what you kind of want from people is to be like, hey, like I saw, not like pretend you didn't see it, not like pretend that you don't see color, right? But it's like, hey, I saw this stuff. I didn't fully understand it. Like, can we like have a convo? It was really cool, right? Like, and I like to think that we've been able to do that about you growing up Black in a really small, bougie, white prep school. And I think that's maybe not why we're friends, but a really nice part of our friendship.
Yeah, no, you bringing that up and framing it in that way, like, yeah, I think, and it kind of goes back to, I think there was something, so for the friendship memory, I guess we'll kind of jump ahead a little bit, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily my favorite, but I think that it was impactful because I think it showed me how much you really cared about me and our friendship. But I don't know if you remember when I had an internship and we had done professional development like out in the boonies, but it was by your house. And so I was like, hey, Kendall, will you come pick me up because they're dropping me off at this place and, I'll stay at your house or, you can take me to the train, whatever. And there was a girl that I met and we had gotten really close. And so she was like, oh my gosh, no, I'm taking you home. I'm driving you home. Like, I don't care. I'm driving you home. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like my friend's she's on the way. Like it's going, it was like this, it was a non-starter. She was taking me home. So you had driven like halfway to get me. And then I had to be like, hey, actually, this girl is going to take me home. I'm sorry. And I remember that you expressed to me, you were like, you were not happy.
I don't remember this at all, but I fully believe that.
You were not happy. But I loved that you were honest with me that you weren't happy because I think that there are a lot of people I'd be like, oh, no, it's okay. It's fine. And then they would have been resentful. Yeah. And I think that that is something that I've never had to worry about with you. I think that, and I feel the same space to be able to do that with you. And so as I get older and I experience other friendships, I'm like, wow, like that was a really meaningful moment because it's also like you didn't hold that over my head. I got you boba and you were done.
Oh, yeah, you can buy my love for sure. No, but I it's so much healthier. You're just like, hey, like this thing wasn't great either way. And then the other person can be like, wow, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, we're good. But otherwise, yeah, if you're just sitting on it, being like, oh.
Yeah, and so I don't know if that's something maybe that we got from being on student council together, but I just feel like you and I communicate really well, like where our feelings are at. And I think that that's such a very important part of friendship. And so like when you bring up that I was like, hey, I would love more information or context about this thing that I'm seeing. I'm like, yeah, of course, that is 100% me because I feel like, I think we also, being a interracial friendship, I think that there's a lot that we don't know, but I think that we create a space for us to be able to have those conversations. And I think that we're both very thoughtful about what we're learning.
Totally. Yeah, no, I appreciate all the times you've had to teach me and all the other things too.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything you think that I could do better or that you think you could do better in the friendship?
I don't have a great answer for this. I think we've actually done a startlingly good job at continuing to see each other pretty regularly, given that you absconded to California.
Okay, listen, because you could have come to California. Let's talk about how you chose. It was between Florida and California, and you chose Florida. Okay,
I did. That's a great point. I can't refute it.
Thanks.
No, but I think we've done a really good job at seeing each other. You are remarkable. You're a community builder, like at heart.
Aww.
And so you've done a remarkable job at keeping 4 of us from high school, like talking really regularly. We were talking before, regardless. So we had like an amazing trip at your house. We're going to do Berlin soon. So there's nothing that stands out to me as like we could do more.
I feel that again when I think about like, and I think since high school. So it's interesting because when I think about my relationship with Dee, right? Like Dee and I literally have had the same, like we were attached at the hip, did everything together from high school to a little bit after college. Whereas like with you, even though we weren't necessarily attached at the hip all those years, you're right. Like I still feel like I was a huge part of your life because we always made an effort. Like if I was in Massachusetts and you were there, we always saw each other. If you could come to family events or functions, you came.
Can we talk about my favorite of your family events?
Of course. I already know what it is. Go ahead.
Your sister had a birthday party for her chicken.
Yeah.
And it was it was a second birthday party. And Henny wore outfit. She had multiple outfit changes. We played chicken trivia. I still show people pictures from that party. It was a highlight of my life. I'm also obsessed with Erica and your mom. So it's always good to see them. But the chicken party, 10 out of 10.
It was a wild time. We get down in my family. We love to party and yeah, she had a birthday party for her chicken and it was an event.
I highly recommend getting one chicken, having it live inside your home like a pet, like a pretty princess, dressing it up, and then making all of your friends play with your chicken.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny because you had such a good time at that party that this was before I had gotten Harlow. And so I was like, well, now I have to get an exotic pet to top this.
Yeah. We clearly told him that you were going to get a series of exotic pets. Yeah. And then I believe he texted me separately and said that I was a bad influence.
Did not know about that.
Mm-hmm. He's a good cookie, though. Jess sometimes texts me funny things that are we're a little competitive, right? Because we both want your love. But he's a good cookie because I was staying with you one time and I went for a run and I accidentally ended up, there were stray dogs and I am terrified of stray dogs. I couldn't function and I couldn't get home because then I felt very stuck. And it was 6 a.m. because that's what time I like to be awake. You guys were not awake. And so I called you and I believe you rolled over in bed and told Jess that he needed to deal with this. And Jess came and got me and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I love that. He is a good cookie.
He is. I like him very much.
It's so funny though, because so we've had a thread going on because I watched this renovation show and one of the girls on the show is just a white woman with a long face and he thinks that it's Kendall. And I'm literally...
Her face is that long.
No, it's not that long, but literally that is the only, the ovalness of your face and the ovalness of this girl's face is the only similarity that y'all have. And he is dead set on the fact that you are twins.
You said to him in the group chat, you said, Jess, not all white people look the same. And I was dying. I've showed it to multiple people. No one sees it, but maybe it's a vibe thing. And I'm just kind of thrilled because anytime someone says to me, oh, I saw a girl that looked like you, inevitably it's not someone famous. It's some random blonde chick from X activity that they've done who looks nothing like me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Our hair color that we dye, very similar in color. Thank you so much for this information. And so that just has actually felt a little bit more exciting to me.
No, I will say there was an episode and she made a facial expression that I'm okay, Kendall has made a facial expression that. But that's not, and now he's been trying to walk it back. He's well, I didn't say they look exactly alike. I said they look similar.
Okay, when we get off this call, I'm going to send him pictures of Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, any of the other Chris's, and be these all look just like Jess.
Please do that. Please troll him.
We'll see what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? What I will say, but this isn't your fault. This is Connor's fault. When he left me out of your proposal, I was damn.
Did he really?
Yeah, you don't remember? It was a huge thing because he made you a video and you were on a scavenger hunt. And I was just Connor, what about me?
Oh, I'll have words with him again about this. I will. I'm sure we had words at the time, but I'll have words with him again.
Yeah, no, I think you did. Because I think he came up and apologized. He was I'm sorry. I completely fucked up. Kendall let me know very much how I fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, that man is amazing and he loves me very much. Pretty sure he did that entire plan the day before, which it was still lovely and wonderful.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't fully probably thought out.
It's okay. I let it go sometimes.
I'll speak to him.
Yeah.
It's always good to give your man critical feedback.
Yep. Okay, now we are at favorite friendship memories. So
oh my god, I have too many. I'm literally gonna kill your podcast because we'll just keep going. Okay, let's see. I have said some of them. Okay, so we've talked about your car accident. We're making it sound really funny. Obviously, it's not funny, but you've spoken about it before on the podcast.
I mean, I tell people that it's just kind of like, it's been like almost 15 years since it happened. And so I'm like...
It's been a lot more than that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how old I am. It's been 7 years. We're very young.
But yeah, I survived it. And I think I'm very lucky. You know, I think that in other contexts, like I can be serious about it. But I mean, it's also when you really think about it, it's like I was a freshman who got hit by a car in front of like her whole school.
And it made you cool. It was like so ridiculous. Well, our senior year, we went to Rome. We were like class clowns of Latin by that point, like real problem children. We were so lucky. There was about 20 of us who got to go to Rome, and our teacher was intense. And at one point, we were navigating somewhere, and there was a lot of us. And so, oh my gosh, I have so many Rome memories. So she decided we would just run across a highway really quick because we had to get to the other side of the road. And so I was like, yeah, like no problem. Like we were like outside. So we start running, and you're just like completely in the back, and I hear you screaming like a goblin, like, I got hit by a car, this isn't funny, I'm so mad, blah, blah, blah. And I was like keeled over laughing, like while we were trying to cross this highway. You were so mad. Everyone lived, you were fine, but that was a real highlight. Some other highlights is we got kicked out of the Sistine Chapel because you were screaming about, do you remember? I don't remember. Dicks, maybe?
No. Was I screaming about dicks?
I think so, because they're on the ceiling, or naked people or something. We got kicked out of the Sistine Chapel and the Pantheon. The Pantheon wasn't our fault. I mean, we were being loud, but that was like maybe anti-Asian hate for one of our other friends. But the Sistine Chapel, I'm fairly certain we were screaming about.
I mean, it sounds like it. We were young, and like, you know, like we couldn't. At least I like, you know, you're not really appreciating the beauty. You're more like, oh my God, there's the 20th dick statue we've seen.
Yeah. It also, our teacher told whoever's in charge of the Vatican, told them that we were all Catholic so that we could go and see Peter's bones. And so she told us we had to lie about being Catholic, and not one person was Catholic. And I just remember we like could not hold our shit together. All we wanted to do was make sure that they knew we were not Catholic. Not because of anything wrong with it, just because we were like teenagers. It was a really good experience. The whole trip was, oh my God, we talked about, that was the first time I learned that there was a spectrum of sexuality.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
I remember with you bringing that up because it was me, you, and then another friend who at the time went by Daphne, but now her name is Sanjay. And it was honestly, it was like a little girls' party because it was all three of us in the room and like, you know, going to bed at night, and we would just like talk in the dark. And
I learned so much.
Yeah. No, it was so cute. Oh my gosh. Continue though, if I cut you off on other memories.
That was our high school Rome trip. Then we met up again in Florence and then went to Rome together in college.
Yes.
Which was incredible. And we were slightly more mature then, but poorer in college, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which was really fun. I remember I was very seriously trying to take an AP test for Latin. Because I didn't want to have to take language in college because I was clearly bad at it. And Daysha, for some reason, didn't care about the test, but you had to take the test. Yeah. And so she sat next to me, drawing pineapples all over her test, going to the bathroom for like 45 minutes, but then coming back and like dancing and shit while I was trying to take the test. It was really funny, but also like, you were lucky I did well on that test.
I was lucky I did well on that test.
You did well on that test?
I got a 2, and I barely answered anything.
You put your name in.
No, a 2 is like, because it was out of 4. So I did half, you know, like, honestly. Okay, so here was the thing. We took AP Latin.
Yeah.
But I knew that I wanted to take Italian when I got to college. So I didn't really care about testing out of the language. And I had been taking it seriously up until I realized. So for the most of that year, I thought that the AP test was going the results were going to be incorporated into my grade. And I think like the night before I realized, I was like, wait, she's not going to get these test results. Like my grade is totally independent of this dumbass test. And so I was like, oh, word. And she's right. I was acting a damn fool. I wrote like truly my name and then any question that was like very simple, very easy. And then, yeah, I was fucking around. I was in the bathroom for God knows how long. I think, yeah. And then you're right. I think I was like dancing in the hallway where like the instructor couldn't see me because we were in this room that had like these glass windows. So their back was to me.
Yep.
And I was acting a damn fool.
Yeah, it was so funny. With the irony being that it was all about the Aeneid, which we knew by heart at that point in time. So you could have just done it.
I could have.
But you didn't.
But I said no.
We recite the beginning of the Aeneid to each other.
Wait, say that again?
We used to recite the beginning of the Aeneid to each other pretty soon.
Well, yeah, because Jamie made sure that we knew, I think, like the first 10 lines.
Mm-hmm. It's something like ego virum che primo ora Italiam. That's the second line.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first line is.
I just remember, I know in English, the first line is like, I sing about a man and arms.
We should reread it. Honestly.
I mean, we have to have Jamie, though.
In English.
We have to have Jamie. Oh, it's not, no, we gotta, at least, I think like the first couple of pages in Latin.
Okay, fine. That's it. Yeah, I don't really remember any of it, unfortunately. Yeah. What else? For somehow, even though we haven't lived in the same place since high school, we have celebrated so many New Year's together.
I know! Oh my God. Oh my, that's such a good point. Yes.
Yeah. And we would just like dance and everyone, like, because we always celebrated in Boston, which is where I lived for most of it. And people would be like, who is she? And I'd be like, that's wifey. And everyone just loved you. One time when you were like at BuzzFeed or like close to BuzzFeed, you were kind of being an influencer. I took like 100 photos of you looking really hot at New Year's, and everyone got really into like lighting it and like helping, which was really fun. One time we were out at New Year's and we used to go hard because we were in our 20s. And then Rachel came to the bar, like she lived in Germany, and she just like showed up at like 1 a.m. And it was, I still think that was like magic. Like it really felt like she just apparated out of nowhere and showed up at this bar with her friend. It was the best thing that ever happened. And three of us took like 100 pictures, and our eyes are not very open in any of them.
That is so funny. Yeah, now that you bring that up, oh my God. Yeah. New Year's is like a very special for many, many years. Yeah. We always connected around New Year's. And oh my God. I think COVID was actually when we fell out of the tradition.
Well, when we went to your house in LA last year, that was called a New Year's slumber party. It just didn't end up happening on New Year's.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God. I like completely forgot about those for a second, but yeah, I really love those. And it's so funny that you bring up the one, because I remember the one where you guys trolled me because I took a picture in the kitchen.
So good. You didn't have to take a picture in the kitchen. You took hundreds of photos in the kitchen. It looks great.
Fair.
So it's fun.
Fair.
No.
But yeah, and then you trolled me afterwards. It was great. Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot about those. Okay. I'm thinking about mine was the AP test because Kendall was so mad.
It is fun. I remember it as like a fun thing, whatever. But yeah, I'm sure I was livid.
No, she was so mad. But like mad in like a lighthearted way. Like you were just like, are you seriously doing this right now? As I am trying to take.
Yeah, you'd be like tapping your hands on the table, like all those stuff. Like, yeah, you were not chill about it, but
no,
it was pretty funny.
It was. It's great. Oh my gosh, there's New Year's, and it was so interesting. I struggled for a minute, honestly, because like you said, we have so many memories, and I just think it made me realize that you were one of the very few people where when we are together, we just always have a good time. I can always ensure that I am going to have a good time. And I was thinking about when you came to stay at the house for the first time, and we just had such a blast, like exploring the area. We went to that little arcade. Yeah. I cooked for you. It was just such a lovely vibe. And
I tried to convince me to go to a trampoline park that only had like 5-year-olds, and we were going to literally rock them.
I didn't try to convince you. We thought that it was for adults. Yeah.
No, when you say arcade, you are underselling that. this is like the creepiest amusement park. It has a slide from Michael Jackson's Neverland. Is that what he called it? Neverland Ranch.
Yeah.
And we got hit on by the go-kart guy. I loved it. We have to go back immediately.
Yes.
It was like everything I want. Like rides that were not scary, except that they might just break and you might just die.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, you know how there are festivals or carnivals that will, like, come into your community for, like, 3 months and, you know, they definitely have a lawsuit on them. Like, someone has definitely, like, that is the vibe of this amusement park, but it is stationary. It is there 24/7.
So good. Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
And the go-kart guy was like, where are you guys going, ladies? And we're like, home. To our husband. We're old. Goodbye. Like,
oh my God. But yeah, all of that to say that, like, I just feel like I think it was hard for me to really pinpoint specific things because if we are together, we are making a memory that is just so ridiculous. In some way, shape, or form. And I think we do this thing with our relationships, especially with relationships that we've had for a long time, where we will say that, you know, that's just my friend that has this kind of mood or this kind of energy or this kind of whatever. And we kind of make excuses for it. But again, I think because, like I said, we've always been so open about where we are emotionally, where we're feeling, like what we're feeling, what we desire or don't desire. I think that's then made, like, I can't think of a time where I had a negative experience with you.
I'm sure we have. That's super generous. Yeah.
No, I think we have. It's not me saying that we've never had them, but it is me saying that I think because, again, we are so good at communicating that it doesn't stick. Like, you didn't even remember the being pissed off about coming to get me. You know? And I'm sure that there's something that I'm probably forgetting too, but I think all of that is just to say that I've just had such strong communication issues in my relationships with friends or quote unquote friends. And but it stands out to me as something that I'm finding that I really value and that it's so interesting that it's a vibe that we've always had since we were teenagers, you know?
Yeah. I think in some ways we're very different, which can help, like, not feel competitive or anything. The older I get, I actually really don't feel very competitive with my friends because, like, what your friends do, and the cooler it is to hear about it, right? It's all good. But yeah, I don't think we've ever felt competitive. You identify as introverted, which I still think is wild.
Definitely an introvert, but
I get that because you seem to really be happy, like, living in a much smaller community, and I have to live in cities. But I guess you're a very outgoing introvert.
I like to tell people it's not that we're not social, we're just selectively social, you know? I decide who gets to see that, like, fun, bubbly side of me.
Totally. So, I think we have gotten lucky. I think we've also worked at it. Excuse me, now when we hang out with Dee and Rachel, we get to have a common enemy, which is Rachel. I'm obsessed with Rachel, but she's so German now that anything we do, she's like, there's no plan. And, like, why are you guys being like this? And Daysha and I are just cracking up. And Dee is, like, trying to kind of be the mediator. So that helps too.
Yeah. But you know what? I think that fits into what our dynamic has kind of always been.
We need, like, a heel.
Dee has always been, like, I think, what is it, Switzerland or Poland? Which one is the neutral country? Switzerland. Yeah, Dee has always been Switzerland.
Yeah, Dee is Switzerland. Rachel's the best person on earth. She just got frustrated with us when we were going to Vegas and we didn't have any plans and we just thought it was funny.
Yeah. I mean, we were being true Americans. We don't plans? What the fuck?
We didn't need plans. We had a great day. And then we got to go see Becky and play with her dog.
Yeah, we've had such a, like, it's like really hitting me that, you know, like with you and with Dee and with Rachel, like we've had like a 20-year friendship. And like, I'm like, wow, like, no, we really have had a 20, but like not just, I think some people say that like, yeah, I've known this person for 20 years, but it's just, they just have known them. Whereas like, I think that we have actively been a part of each other's lives for 20 years.
I actually think something that's really cool for me is I was not friends with Dee in high school. I didn't know her well at all. We were on the same volleyball team, but didn't really hang out. I saw her as an enemy for your time in a section.
Which was so crazy. I was just re-listening to her episode the other day, and I was like, she talked about how she felt threatened by you at a time.
Yeah.
And
Good. Stay threatened, D. Yeah, we just didn't know each other. We didn't hang out after, we obviously didn't hang out in college. We didn't hang out afterward. And I've gotten to know her in the last 2 years, and she's so cool. She's kind of got this quiet confidence, and then she says something, and you're like, wow, that's way cooler than anything I've ever done in my entire life, and I want to learn more. She's really delightful.
Yeah.
I think we're friends now.
No, you're totally friends. I mean, I think, is she part of your 20 best friends?
No.
No.
One day. But I think we like each other. I don't want to air her secrets out here, but she'll just say things and it completely blows my worldview, and she's just very caring and willing to share. I really like her, and I truly do not think we spoke to each other ever in high school. Not out of malice. I just and do not think we knew each other.
Yeah. No, and I think that's what I think is so beautiful is when your friends become friends with
the best.
Yeah.
When they hang out without you and you're like, wow, I did that. And they're like, no, you didn't. We just like each other. I don't get jealous of that. I'm so thrilled when communities
they meld.
Grow. Yeah. And then you get invited, and it's the best.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. And yeah, this is so that people, because I was listening to that episode, and she's quiet, but D be doing stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah. She is exploring the world.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay. What has our friendship taught you about making friends?
I think differences can make it better.
Mm-hmm.
I've been making this friend in Miami who's very artistic, and she's a comedian, and I feel like we're so different in a similar way, you and I. It's more fun because of it. You can you're teach me things that you're interested in that I don't know much about.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hadn't thought of this before, but in the same way that you really lead with assuming best intent, there's some people that's not as easy to do with. And I'm trying to do it much more regularly, across my life. But it's just a good reminder. So I'd say I learned those two things.
Yeah. I was going to say for me, I think that, again, as I think about my relationships with white women in my life, that the thing that you've taught me, and that I think other white women that I'm close to, so I think about Becky or Rachel, it's just that, I just think you've really evolved from when we were kids. And, like you said, you came from a very conservative, privileged private school before CA. And I think that for a lot of people of color, white relationships can be labor, and they kind of get to a place where they're just I'm not interested in doing this anymore. And I think that what's been beautiful about our relationship is just the ways in which we have created that space for vulnerability and understanding so that we can grow and evolve and be different. And I think that you have taught me that, I think as a person of color, when I think about my relationships with white people, I don't know, a lot of people are like, oh, this is hard, or, have patience with me, or whatever. And so you're just kind of I don't know where to put my expectations on you being anti-racist, right? But I think that you and Becky and Rachel, again, have taught me that yes, people will get it wrong, but there is a difference between someone who's I've gotten it wrong and I'm acknowledging that and I'm gonna try again, versus I've gotten it wrong, boy, this was exhausting, and tapping out. And I really value that. I think that, we're all different, and it's not easy to bring those differences together, but it's about the effort. And I think that you put in a great amount of effort that I think is why our friendship exists and continues.
I appreciate that. It's very kind, and we all make mistakes and we'll continue to make mistakes, but I appreciate your patience and willingness to answer questions, and I'm just happy to be included.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything you're nervous about for the future of our friendship?
When you first said for the future, I was like, girl, yes. Nuclear war. Deportation. No, I'm sorry. This is not a political podcast. For the future of our friendship, I don't think this is unique to you and I. I think like life changes, right? And
Mhm.
if kids come into the picture, like people have less time and different priorities. But again, that's not about you and I think it's something to be managed. And I also think people can not be part of your life for periods of time and come back into your life and have that be really beautiful. Nothing that keeps me up at night, but that is something that will just continue to evolve, particularly for women as we get older.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that pops up for women is the fear that of what friendship and marriage can do for a relationship and, you know, time. Right. And, but I will say for me, I mean, you got married and I still saw you all the time. I know kids it's very different, but yeah, again, I think that because we've really gotten down the communication part of it, that it'll be unfortunate. But I also think that sometimes people let kids be an excuse. And that's what,
100%.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I hate because it's like, yes, someone has kids and yes, their time commitments change, but also like, let's not act like you are using your kids to ghost out of a relationship for other reasons that you don't want to identify.
Yep.
And so I think that's another thing that we have to really be honest with as a society. Like, yeah, especially when they're a newborn, things will be complex and complicated. But at the same time, I just think that if you want to be in someone's life, you will put in the effort in some capacity to be in their life, even if it's a reduced capacity.
Totally. I mean, I have girlfriends who have had kids and everyone has a different journey. And, you know, some people have postpartum, whatever. But I've had girlfriends who have had kids and they're so bored breastfeeding that suddenly I hear from them constantly. And they're like, did you read this book? Did you read that book? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, no, I'm working. And so, yeah, people handle everything differently. And I think it's just something that you watch and keep in mind. And yeah, we'll see how that changes.
Yeah. As you said, I'm the community builder. So ain't nobody slipping away from me. I'm like, hey, I haven't heard from you.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's really important to make sure that your friends are still alive.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Rachel, you're like, hello.
I know. I'm like, Rachel, you could get kidnapped and we would not be like, we naturally would not have started looking for you early enough because we'd be like, oh, you know, this is just Rachel doing her thing.
Yeah. We need a catch-up call with her, though. I need all the hot goss. I think everyone's doing so well.
Yeah. I think we have a call scheduled fairly soon.
Yay.
Okay. So we do 2 things to close out an episode. So the first thing is to tell people where they can find you if they want to learn more about you and anything you're up to.
Not many places. I'm not super active on social media these days, so I don't know the answer to that.
It's okay.
I have LinkedIn. I don't check it. Don't give out my number because I don't want to get checked.
So this is it's like another Rachel situation. It's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then I'm so mad because it's coming to me now. So I'm going to say it. But like, I think another thing that when I think about your evolution too, like you are such a badass business bitch. And I can't even believe that it almost slipped my mind to talk about it because it is something that I have just seen you go through so much in relationship to being a founder, working in the tech space, dealing with asshole investors. Like you have been thrown the gauntlet. But like also like the fact that you have been vulnerable enough to share how you were really feeling on those journeys with me. And like, you know, the fact that there were sometimes where you're like, I'm going to quit. I'm over this. Like, I am done. And I was like, absolutely not.
No, actually, something that was helpful during that this was like quite early on in my first company. I went out with a girl who actually went to our high school, but she's older than us. And someone I look up to. I went out with her. I was like, I'm going to quit. And she was like, okay, cool. What's the plan? And she like helped me walk through like how I would enough so that it was real enough that I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And I thought that was super helpful.
Yeah. But yeah, like just the tenacity. And again, I think that when we talk about platonic attraction, because that is something I've been reading a lot of books on that lately, and I find it so fascinating that is just such an attractive quality to see somebody who's been through so much, like truly, like you have gone through so much shit and always came back, always fought in your own way. You know, like, yeah, you had your moments where you were down, but like you said, like you always found your way back back to the path. And I love that energy. I think that it's something that I truly value so much about watching you evolve as an adult. So
thank you.
Yeah, I can't believe I almost forgot, but came back.
It's a friendship podcast.
Yeah.
Not a work podcast. So we're all good.
Okay, so the other thing we do is we play a game called Scroll Double Tap DM.
Okay.
And I also can't believe we didn't talk about this either now that it's coming to mind. But Kendall and I think, a big point of connection for us in our friendship journey was The Sims.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking to myself, maybe I'll play Sims tonight. It's been a long week, and I think I maybe have learned The Sims tonight.
Oh, you've totally. But yeah, so Sims was huge for us. And I remember literally there was one day we spent an entire lunch period, which I believe was like either 45 minutes or an hour, just talking about shit that our Sims were doing that was driving us crazy.
Yeah, keep drowning themselves, keep burning to death, leaving a baby, getting a babysitter, and then having the babysitter leave, getting child services called, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, running out of money because they won't go to work. Yeah, I don't like cheating in The Sims. I think it's really important to play. Cheating.
I think
way more fun.
I would make them have sex with everyone,
Naturally. Sorry. Romantic cheating is good. I just wouldn't get more money. I thought it was more fun to play.
Oh, you mean yeah. No, I definitely got the money cheat codes and just did everything I wanted.
Fair. That was not how I played.
Okay, so I thought for Scroll Double Tap DM we could do Sims 2, Sims 3, or Sims 4.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. Scroll is I don't like it. Double tap is I want to learn more. And DM is I want to have sex with it.
Yeah, or I mean, you really like it or you're obsessed with it.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Sims 3 is bad because I don't play 4 and 2 a lot more. So I'm going to scroll on Sims 3.
Okay.
And I know Sims 2 is classic. It's a classic. I've played a ton of it. Today, double tap on that in DM Sims 4. Sims 4, there's so many expansions. It's been live now for 15 years or something. It is quite built out. And when you go back to Sims 2, I don't think the graphics are there. Oh my gosh, I forgot, but I got a mod. There's lots of mods for Sims 4 where you can get a mod where they can do drugs and when they have sex you can actually see it. I completely forgot. I forget what this mod is called. Yeah, there's a huge fan community of people that build mods for Sims 4. I'm trying to think what other mods I have. Of course, that's the only one I remember because it's the most interesting. It's just, they've built a really beautiful community around it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dead. Okay, so the funny thing for me is that when I was at BuzzFeed, there was a security guard that worked there, and she and I would have little chats as I was leaving for the end of the day. And so I told her how much I really, really loved Sims and all this stuff. And she had a connection at EA. So that connection gave me Sims 4. And I was like, what?
Amazing.
But because when I tell you that I lose hours of time playing Sims. It is unbelievable how many hours of time. I have not opened it yet. So I know.
Tonight.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it. Yeah.
But okay, so for me, so I have Sims 2, Sims 3, and then I have Sims 4. I just haven't played it yet. Sims 3 was bad. Sims 3 had a ton of glitches, if I remember correctly. And Sims 3 was bad. So I think I would scroll on Sims 3, but because I don't have experience with Sims 4 yet, I think I would like Sims 4, and then I'd have to go with Sims 2. Do they still do the storylines with like how back then they had the Romeo and Juliet? Yeah.
I believe so. They definitely still have Bella Goth.
Okay.
God, I loved those.
I did. Because what was so funny is that for Sims 2 one time, I was playing it, I fell asleep, and so what was Bella's boyfriend's name?
That's too deep of a cut. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Bella had a boyfriend, and it was basically based on Romeo and Juliet. And so I fell asleep. I wake up, Romeo's dead. He's been dead for a hot minute. One of them murdered him.
No way.
And I was like, oh shit.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was because they kept trying to kill each other, and I was like, man.
The tip of my tongue is the name of one of the families. It was Oh, it sounded like country western. I don't know.
I know. It was Mortimer. So Mortimer Goth, right?
Mortimer
Mortimer
Goth is Bella's dad.
is Bella's dad. But then what was, the other family, I'm like, oh my God, tip of my tongue.
Yeah. In Sims
Wow.
2, do they age?
Yeah, they do. They did.
Actually, some of my favorite TikTok content are people pretending they're Sims.
I don't think
hysterical.
I know.
will send it to you.
Yeah, please send me, because I'm like, I have not gotten on that side of TikTok yet.
It's particularly this couple that I believe are professional dancers, so they can control their body movements very well. They're quite big. I'm sure I can find it for you.
Yeah, no. And then it reminds me of, I had sent you a really funny Sims meme for when Elon and Trump were fighting.
You did, yes.
I was like, good times.
The baby was like on fire on the ground.
Yeah.
He's just like on the computer. Yeah.
Good times. I love this. I love you.
This is so fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for including me. I love you. Congrats on a very successful podcast.
All right, y'all. That's it for this week. I hope you loved getting to know my wifey for lifey, Kendall, and that our relationship serves as a reminder that you don't always have to be in constant communication or proximity with someone to still have a deep and meaningful friendship. Now, if that's something you need, though, in your close relationships, that's good to know and be clear about. But I also just want to put out there that doesn't have to be the case for everyone, because like I said, Kendall and I have not lived in the same state since high school, but we still feel like we both have such a big presence in each other's lives, and that's because we're always putting in the effort to stay connected. Like, I don't think there's a year that has gone by since we've known each other where we didn't connect at least once in that year, whether that was physical or, talking on the phone or Zoom or whatever. And then I think Kendall and Dee, so Dee is my other best friend from high school, are great reminders that sometimes your next best friend or close friend doesn't have to be some random stranger. It could literally be someone that's been in your orbit, either a friend of a friend or someone you've hung out with in a group setting. So if there's someone you've been slowly getting to know or hearing about and you find yourself being really interested in learning more about them, or you find yourself being platonically attracted to them, reach out, go on a friend date, because there's truly nothing better than when two people you love create a relationship and then we can all just go and do stuff together. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would like to try, keyword being try, to have 3 episodes for y'all in June, since this episode was supposed to come out in late May, but we'll see what life allows me to get done. But as I mentioned before, we have a great series on friendship and conflict coming up that you do not want to miss, so very much stay tuned for that. And, as always, if there's something you want to chat more about, feel free to drop me a comment wherever you are listening, and then make sure you hit me up on Threads, TikTok, or Instagram. Alrighty, I'll catch y'all next time, besties. Your girl is out. Hey besties, if you are loving Real Talk Friend Therapy, I want to hear about it. So make sure you screenshot the episode and tag me on social media with your favorite part. Can't wait to see.